Hey everyone, OTC here. Going to do a level 500 StoneSong no potion delve run here with all fraction troops. And setup I like is the Harpy up top, Harpy Mage next, Blade Wing, and then Queen Zashi. I will just refer to her as Queen going forward in case I butchered her name or the pronunciation. So after quite a few failed attempts, I ended up realizing that getting the Harpy up and using the Harpy is actually a pretty good idea when you're going after these high-level troops, especially at like level 500. So you give life to yourself, and also if there's a storm running, you drain 4 mana from all the other enemies. Found it again to be very helpful to use that troop a little more than originally. I just kind of left it there and tried to kill with Blade Wing and throw the Queen to get more damage, but again I found out that the other side seems to damage me and kill me more quickly than I could do it. So having that extra health and also delaying them at least a turn, because 4 mana is not a lot, but it takes a full excuse me, a full troop down to nothing, or they have to get one more gem match. So in this case their Harpy Mage is ready to go, but if I throw the Harpy, it's going to take another match to get the Harpy up. So it's, again, I found throwing the Harpy with the Storm to be very beneficial, even over Blade Wing, as you'll see. That's what I'm going to do here. And like I said, I just found it to be, actually I took the match first, let them throw, and now I actually throw the Harpy after looking. And that's the other thing too, is making sure you just look for any sort of 4 matches here. There's a lot on the board you can look at. Taking the blues into browns was one thought, seeing what falls, but now we're gonna have the Blade Wing, try and get that 20% chance to kill one of the troops. And I like to go after the Queen first in this setup. I know Blade Wing can kill you, but Blade Wing will only kill 1 troop, and woohoo, we get lucky. But the reason I like going after the Queen first is 35% chance to summon when they have a 4 match. I just found that it seems like a lot higher percentage when the AI is doing that. And anyway, it seems like just a bad thing. It seems like the highest percentage. I understand that, you know, you got your the Harpy itself has a 5% chance to summon another Harpy every turn. That's a passive thing, and I'd rather have a bunch of Harpies rather than have a Harpy Mage and Queen on the other side, because they can do some serious damage. So yeah, and this part of the board presents kind of a tough challenge, because you got 2 skulls. You don't want to get hit by skulls. You do want to throw your Blade Wing. You're going to get 1 more turn. You have a Harpy Mage you can restart, but you never know what's going to fall. Again, just boards like this make it difficult, because pretty much no matter what you do, you're going to get hit with skulls unless you explode, which brings a lot of randomness to it. So like I said, I like to look at the Harpy Mage, and the reason I keep clicking that is to show that what I was looking for is, because it explodes, because Harpy Mage explodes number of gems of your ally's mana color, you really want to look for a good spread. See how many gems you have of each, because all the troops here have 2 colors. You want to try and maximize the amount of gems you explode, because again, in these delves, you're going to explode probably more gems are on the board, so you're going to explode every one. So in that case, if you want to get rid of all the skulls, if they're all near like the yellow gems, then you make sure you blow either the Queen or the Harpy Mage, because you have a 50% chance of blowing the yellow. So that's kind of why sometimes you'll see me click on the Harpy Mage a few times, just to get a quick look at how many of a certain color on the board, because like I said, I want to make sure you explode as many as you can to get as much mana as you can, and with a storm coming, you can potentially get a 4 match. Here, again, we want to decide to use the Harpy Mage instead of the Blade Wing, just to get more life and make sure that like I said, to reduce their chance of casting. And then I figured between their Harpy Mage and my Harpy Mage, there'll be another brown storm coming soon. Of course, here we have their Harpy Mages up, which the AI is really strange and will not cast that initially. Sometimes it waits. You will see some odd AI here. So again, now we have the Brown Storm. I'm going to pick. I do go after the Harpy Mage here because it keeps giving life to everyone, and at some point, if you take enough skulls, you can potentially kill the first one. The first troop, again, you can see my Harpy's doing 97 damage on skull hits, so getting rid of that Harpy would be nice. I know the Blade Wing kills, but you have a lot of opportunities to bring new troops up. So the Blade Wing's not as big of a deal in the final room, especially if you've already got one down on the other side. I don't see it's terrible, because again, when you cast the Harpy Mage, you hopefully will get a 4 match, which gives you a 35% chance of Queen summoning someone. If you do kill someone, you get a Harpy Mage has a 25% chance to summon. So you have a couple good chances to summon things. Even the Blade Wing has a 5% chance to summon a Harpy. So if you have to extend the match, which is why I like keep casting that Harpy on your side to give all your troops more life, the more chances you get to get those extra troops up front. Again, they act as a meat shield, because at the end of the day, your Blade Wing is going to do most of your damage. And there's our Harpy Mage from the 4 match. And like I said, I prefer to have a Harpy up there, so use as a meat shield. We have the Brown Storm. Let's go try and kill someone. And Blade Wing's done. Woohoo! Again, good stuff. And now here we are again. We're, like I said, we just got to start looking at, it'd be nice to kill the first troop. But of course, the Harpy Mage cast and gets almost 150 life and kills my troop. Do have a Brown Storm. Blade Wing's up. Again, we'd rather have a Harpy up here right now, but try and kill their Harpy. Didn't happen. Again, another 4 match. We get lucky, get a Harpy Mage, and unfortunately, in StoneSong, it is a lot of luck. You can see the other side hasn't summoned any other troops, which is really helpful. I have, which again is extremely helpful for me. You're going to lose some because they're going to keep casting or keep summoning, and you're not. So it's just frustrating, and you just have to fight through it, and eventually you'll get around to winning. Like I said, and then of course something like that happens where 2 troops show up. But the nice thing is they're Harpies. They can't do any real damage to you other than skulls. So this is going to be a long. At this point, when I saw that happen, I was like, all right, it's going to be a long fight. Try and get a Harpy in the first position. Try and get yourself a lot of health. I still feel like I'm in pretty good position here. Again, very frustrating to see this come up, but it happens. And so as I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here, the Queen is nice when you do have a storm going, because she does explode 5 gems, which is very helpful. But just one note while I'm contemplating my next move here is that to get here, I went through if you're watching this video, you probably know many of the delve rooms that you're going to face. Couple of the rooms I was able to get through to get to the last room were the Fenrir room with kind of the wolf pack, and I also got through the Coral Golem as well room. Again, you have the one troop that can do triple damage on your blue troops. Obviously killed him first. Then the Montez, I can't even pronounce the name, but basically kind of like the sea monster there. That only does about 100 damage to a single troop. And then you've got Nyx, your mana drainer, creates blue. So just annoying. But other than that, it wasn't a big deal. you just kind of got, again, you got to get lucky with Blade Wing once or twice, and then you can just kind of grind them all down because they don't summon. The Sacrificial Priest room is actually doable depending on what the Sacrificial Priest does. If it kills a troop or two and doesn't kill you, or doesn't summon after kill, it's a doable room. So just some of the rooms I got through to get to the last room, but again here, if I leave skulls, I'm gonna lose my first troop. Obviously, prefer not to do that. But if you have to, you have to, and hope for a summon. Like I said, that's part of the luck in this final board here in StoneSong is just who's going to summon. Obviously, you just decide to cast Queen, and they get the skull drop anyway. So the hope is that we can kind of come back here and, again, using Blade Wing here would potentially kill one person. Whereas if I explode the board, I'm looking for 4 matches to fill my first slot. And of course, they left me a 4 match, which gives me a 35% chance, and I didn't get it. But we keep going. Like I said, here I'm just trying to take whatever I can to hopefully trigger that 5% Blade Wing. Get a Harpy up there. So I'm trying to go kind of slow and make sure I don't leave any skulls. Obviously, one skull hit will kill my Harpy Mage, which I'd prefer not to lose, because that's the one that can generate your Brown Storms, which you really need here. The nice thing is, there we go. And the nice thing is, like I said, well, not nice, but the odd thing is their AI fires at weird times, especially these Harpies. In this case, I'm just kind of hoping that it would fire or cast so that I could then throw my Harpy Mage, start a Brown Storm, and not have to lose mana. Again, it's all a calculated risk, gamble, guess. Like I said, there is some luck thrown in here. So, again, just going slow. And at this point, I'd like to get my Harpy, like to get the Harpy up, get the Brown Storm going, cast the Harpy. I mean, these are all the things we hope to do, but of course, I take the brown and drop skulls, and then I'm, in a bad position. So now you got to think, well, do I start the Brown Storm and hope, which is, figures the best I could do here, and hope for a 4 match. We get that. We get another 4 match here. Take some skulls. Doesn't really matter much. Again, we got to take our 4 matches there, and problem now is the Harpy is so far down that it's going to take quite a few casts to get into, out of lethal skull damage range. But you still, in my view, you do it because you want the Harpy Mage below it and all the other troops to keep getting all that life. I mean, that's the key thing in my view. You're really building life for all the other ones so that they can absorb a skull hit or two. Again, that's why I took the skulls there, hoping to just keep the Harpy up so I can take another brown or green and just keep some life pumping into my other troops. And in this case, I just casted it just to get the life, thinking if I cast this, I might lose it, like you've seen before. I might lose it to if I cast the Harpy Mage, I might lose it to a skull damage, so I might as well get the life out of it. And again, on the other side, I don't really care if they, they already have 1,000 life on 3 troops, so I really don't care if they keep casting. And in this case, I'm going to start, obviously trying to pick them off one by one. But like I said, since they've already got 1,000 life, my view was build up my own life before I try and go after them. Obviously, if Blade Wing's going to get a free shot like this, might as well take it. Doesn't really hurt anything. And so I believe when I was looking at the board, there wasn't any browns or greens for my Harpy, so figured in a sense going after it. That was a terrible move by my part, leaving them a 4 match into skulls. Like I said, I will defend my poor play by saying I was literally laying in bed. Wasn't even gonna think about doing this, but I figured I'll give it a shot. So again, here, do you wait for the Harpy Mage to? I've got no mana on the other 2, but let them just cast it out, and then again, and then you throw your troop. But like I said, it's kind of, I was kind of hoping to get a 4 match, or I'm trying to get that harpy to come back. You don't want to get too cute with this, but like I said, I'd rather have a, like I said, that's why I've shown the 5% chance. I'm hoping that's why I keep taking this instead of casting, because I don't want to lose my harpy mage. We want to hope that this 5% chance comes back. Come on. Or we get a 4 match like this. Harpy mage. Harpy mage. Nope. Nope. So again, we're just kind of waiting here and hoping that something comes up. Trying to stay away from skulls. I'll throw the blade wing or the queen if I need to. Yes, I already showed that. I'll throw the queen or the blade wing if I have to avoid taking something that leaves a skull or a risky skull damage. But like I said, I'm just trying to hope that we get that passive 5% chance. I know it's a little brutal, but in my mind, it's probably the best way to win is to have a full deck and keep kind of, like I said, that meat shield in the first spot. So we're just kind of hanging out here, hoping for, oh, there we go, and it's dead. So that gets frustrating, obviously. Nothing you can do. Again, the blade wing and queen aren't going to do enough damage to kill anything, so like I said, I'm more of a believer in trying to get your troops filled. This is where I'm really thinking this is not going to happen. Again, looking around, figured just throw the queen. There wasn't anything they could take that could help them. And I guess, the yellows into blues, you could have taken that, but you want to try to minimize the amount of movement on a board, especially when you're trying just to take turns. There we go. So the harpy comes up. Finally, feel a little bit better about our chances now. And as you can see too, the other thing to note is you got to kind of figure out if they're doing 256 damage, you have to be able to take at least 2 skull hits when you summon. So I believe I used sorry, my Hoard was about 100 and let me just double check. I think it was like 140 or something when I did this. Might have been 160. But also the badges you're going to want to use. I did use +8 life, 20% starting mana, and +4 magic because I figured more magic would be better. And again, here I'm just casting to, you're just basically taking away the armor on those harpies. And there we go, another harpy. And the harpy mage comes up. See, it's just like I said, it's kind of random luck sometimes, and it all works out. Now we have the starting team I wanted, which is always a good thing. Sorry, my Hoard was 150. So you got to kind of make sure that you have enough, like I said, just to take those two skull hits. Again, I realized at first I was trying to do this a little bit lower level, and my Hoard level was not high enough to sustain one hit in that, one hit. So you need to make sure you can take at least 2 hits from the first troop. And then, like I said, the magic helps because it gets more life. That's really the bigger thing than actually doing damage, because as you can see, blade wing is going to be your primary killer in most cases, and possibly skulls on the first troop. So those are your 2 big areas where you're going to kill troops. All right, so back to the game. Again, we like having the harpy up. I don't know why I paused here so long to think about my next move. I hope I take the reds instead of casting. But again, like I said, I know I made 1 or 2 mistakes, and that was definitely one of them I should have taken. So let's see. We got to get here, yellows into blues, leaves some bad stuff. So just take the blues, let them keep taking that stuff, and eventually, like I said, I know my strategy was trying to use the harpy to get as much life into my other troops as possible. And like I said, I would have liked the harpy to be able to take 2 hits, because when you throw the Harpy Mage, you never know what's going to come down. And each time I kept thinking, man, I wish I could just get rid of that first troop and get a fully, you know, full armor and full health, another troop to replace it. But you know, it's the way it works. So, and again, like I said, this is just how I did it. Everyone can do it their own way. I know there's various strategies. Like I said, the problem with having 4 harpies on the other side is that they can summon, they each have a 5% chance of summon each turn. So, I mean, in an ideal world, you would kill them with an AoE, but you know, your queen's not going to have enough generally to kill them unless you have an insane Hoard level. So at this point, I just fired Blade Wing just to try and not have to take a turn, really. Again, I know that eventually we're going to have to kill these things. But like I said, my hope was that I would eventually get enough life in my troops. And like I said, as you can see, I'm just trying to pump up as much life as I can into them. And like I said, just I know it's a little slow. Eventually I'll start going after them, I promise. Try and actually kill a little bit. The thought again is that you would have enough life to take 2 hits if you throw the Harpy Mage. Again, like I said, that's just the thought here that I'm trying to go after, and so hopefully one more cast of the Harpy will get me there. And like I said, I'm just trying to move the least amount of gems so that nothing bad happens. Again, ideally you'd have Blade Wing up so that you could use the Blade Wing or a Queen if you didn't want to take a move on a scary board. And you know, I've used this tactic in like the mirrored halls where your Crystal Golem just gets an insane amount of you know, armor, but if you can isolate it and have it be the only troop at the end, it's not too bad. Same thing with Silver Necropolis. I actually did have a video out there where you'll see their first troop gets 1,000 attack, but if you can keep up with summoning troops to cover that first position, it's not that bad, and that's kind of how you're gonna have to beat it, basically. Well, at least that's how I did. Again, missed another 4 match here. Man, this is bad play. But you can see even with my bad play, you can actually end up winning. So I know I took the skulls there. Just trying to get the skulls off the board actually before I cast. And so hopefully the Harpy Mage will, I think at this point where I could survive 1 skull hit. Maybe I was going for more here. But I should have, because that's what happens. I should have cast the Harp. In retrospect, I should have cast the Harpy Mage there. Again, now hopefully I'll cast my Harpy Mage because they're going to cast theirs and drain mana from my side. So at this point, I feel like everyone's got a decent amount of health, especially that Harpy Mage. So probably should start going after them here. But I take the slow route and conservative, which I know it's boring, but you kind of have to in these level 500 delves. I just feel like the other side gets so powerful, you need to kind of build yourself up and take your time to get through these things. Like I said, you know, you want to make sure you have a good chance to win, and it's going to take time because unless you put a lot of treasure into your Hoard, your stats aren't going to be anywhere near the other sides. So again, at some point, I hopefully will make it a little more entertaining and start going after these troops a little bit. Yeah, I think, like I said, at this point on the board, you got to kind of figure: is it worth throwing the Blade Wing? Are you going to start blowing with the Harpy Mage because your Harpy can get killed in a just random skull hit? If if you leave something. Um, Obviously, that's the more aggressive move, is just throw your, nice four match. Obviously, the more aggressive move is throw your Harpy Mage and hope. But like I said, I want to make sure that my, at least the troop below the Harpy has enough to sustain a hit as well. Because again, you might have to go back into this kind of crawling mode where you're hoping for that 5% chance to come up, where you will end up summoning another Harpy. Here I'm actually getting excited because I'm like, ooh, I might actually be able to kill the first one with a skull hit. So I think that's why I slowed down a little bit too. But like I said, each one's just kind of a unique decision. Every time you just got to look at your board, their board. I mean, your board and what they have, what you can do, and just try to make the best choice you can. Like I said, some of you might watch this and think, wow, you should throw the Harpy Mage at some point. Again, I'm not going to disagree with you. It's just conservative versus aggressive tactic. Generally, some of the best advice I read early on was be aggressive, which I, again, in theory agree with. I think and I agree for most times that's applicable, but when the opponent, again, stats are so much higher than yours, being aggressive doesn't always work. So in this case, like I said, I was lucky enough to skull that troop down. Figured take advantage of that. There's only 3 on the other side now, so in theory, 3 Blade Wing casts could win you the day, but board's looking a little rough. Figured I'd try and take a couple more and see what comes down. It hurts too because yours is so close. Figured my Harpy's so close. Figured maybe I just keep going with the strategy of just trying to build up my other troops, get them in a good position before I start trying to really attack. Again, here are the decisions between the green and the brown there. Like I said, just like to look over the board before you make an action. As I was kicking myself, thinking, man, I've already made a few bad moves already. And let's see. Again, there's no. You're really just looking for greens and browns at this point. Like I said, just trying to keep buffing up your troops. You can see that the 3 troops below the Harpy Mage are actually looking like they're in good shape. I mean, below the Harpy are actually in good shape. And there goes my first one. So now, if I remember correctly, and we'll see if I'm validated, I think I said, go for the 4 match here rather than play conservative, but let's see what I ultimately do. And like I said, I'm looking at the gems. So for instance, I believe I used the Blade Wing here because it had the most browns and blues on the board. You just add up the 2, and whoever has the most, unless you're looking to get rid of skulls, which then you would look which colors in your skulls and take that. Again, tough decision here because you throw the Blade Wing, you throw your queen. Again, it's kind of 50-50. Blade Wing gets you the insta-kill. Queen, better chance of getting the... there we go. And Queen, better chance of getting you the the other summoning a Harpy Mage. In this case, I went for the Blade Wing and got lucky, double lucky, because 1, I got the kill, but then 2, the kill triggered a Blade Wing to show up. So really good stuff here. Again, now we have a slightly different circumstance. Like I said, we're going to be very aggressive here. You're going to see I'm going to try and like to get the Harpy Mage up, obviously, so I can get the Brownstorm going, try and throw these Blade Wings. It'd be nice if I had them both, full of mana ready to go once you get your Brownstorm going, because you got to go after you can't have these Harpies throwing up more Harpies, because then you're just never going to get out of this endless cycle. So like I said, I was just kind of looking around here for, you have to take skulls, but you really want to take any reds or yellows. to get that Harpy Mage up and just make sure that there's nothing bad. You're not going to leave anything bad, like a 4 match that leads into skulls. And again, it's just frustrating they keep taking these skulls, because every time you take skulls, it gives them a chance. And then in this case, do you want to blow the board? In this case, I didn't, because I don't want to blow the board because I don't want to lose my mana. Let's see. And here a lot of red, only a couple yellows. So Harpy Mage, brown you got 11. So boom, there we go. And they get a 4 match, they get a bunch of stuff, they get a skull hit. Obviously we're going to use the top blade wing to throw, because that's most likely going to get killed. We have another blade wing, and we have skulls. Now this is a tough decision. Do you go for the insta kill, or do you take the skulls? Because you're getting close here. It's still going to take 4 skull hits. In retrospect, I think I saw that it would leave me at least a 4 match, so I went for the skulls. Figured why not? Because again, because the Harpy hadn't been casting much, I didn't know what it would do. Again, in retrospect, you come this far, I figured, if my troops would have been on death's door, all of them, I probably would have went for the insta kill. But I figured, you know what? Only the first one's hurting. I've got 3 other solid troops. Just keep going. So again, you got 6 turns on the Brown Storm. I didn't really see a reason to right away go for the insta kill again, because remember, you're only 20% chance to get that insta kill. And here, the skulls, you have a pretty good chance. And the problem with the skulls is, of course, the skulls actually lead you down a bad path, because it gives a 5% chance to summon another troop for their side. So there's the blade wing, final kill. Thank you. But again, it's a lot of luck. I'm not going to lie. You're going to have to get lucky a few times, but keep grinding at it. Keep trying. Make sure your Hoard is enough so that you can get, you can take 2 skull hits, and you can see kind of what I did. You get a little bit of, you can see this was actually my first 500 win here, so got a lot of renown. And again, the Hoard was 151. And basically, just good luck to everyone. Thanks for watching, and like I said, I hope you guys do well with it. Good luck.